Now that we know the Game Awards will be on December 7th, today I wanted to go over on which games I believe will be nominated for Game of the Year and also who will take the Game of the Year award. But I also wanted to give my personal list for my Games of the Year because the talk about who will be the contenders, who will be the nominees, who will win is starting up and going crazy online. So we're going to have a little fun with this one. Okay, so first I will give my personal list and I'll do 6 games because that's how many games get nominated each year for Game of the Year, which in my opinion for this year, it's really cutting it close. I don't know if 6 is enough for the Game Awards since there has been so many great quality games. And also y'all let me know which 6 games are your personal games of the year down below in the comments. So let's start off with an honorable mention, and that is for Xenoblade 3 Future Redeem. I couldn't really put it on the list because it's not a standalone game, you know, it's a DLC for Xenoblade 3, but it did come out this year. So this game, Future Redeem, might be the best game I played this year because of the story alone. Such a fantastic conclusion to the Xenoblade trilogy that I cannot spoil, right? With an incredible soundtrack, gameplay, story, characters, world building, you name it. So if you haven't played Future Redeem and you finished Xenoblade 3, I highly recommend playing Future Redeem because you will not be disappointed. And you will see what I mean when I say that this is the best trilogy that I played in video games. Now, let's move on to my number 6, and that is for Fire Emblem Engage. What an incredible game. I'm a huge fan of strategy RPG games, and my favorite franchise from that genre is Fire Emblem. So I was very much looking forward to this game that I even got my special edition of the game right here. You know, this game felt like a celebration. So many nostalgic moments having all the heroes from the past, the best combat of any Fire Emblem game in my opinion, and the art style visuals were incredible. To me, it's one of the best looking games on the Nintendo Switch. I know not many people liked Engage because of the story, right? But for me, going back to the roots of Fire Emblem, focusing on gameplay more than anything else is what did it for me, right? Like, I put so many hours into this game. I really enjoy my time with it, and in my opinion, it's one of the best Fire Emblem games that I've played, and I played a lot of them. Next, for my number 5, it's Mario Wonder. This one it's kind of crazy because I haven't really been interested in any 3D or 2D Mario game in a long time, but after seeing this game announced in the Nintendo Direct, it really interests me because of this art style alone, the animations, right? And sure enough, it did not disappoint. Such a charmful game with an incredible art direction and animations. It's been such a blast, you know, just playing this game with my brother and my wife. I do like my serious, you know, dark action RPG games or whatever the case, right? But sometimes I do like playing games like this, you know, something different, something fresh. And this game actually filled that itch that I had, you know. It was a great time that, you know, can be played over and over again. It has really good replay value. You know, you could play with your friends and your loved ones locally. It makes me wonder, no pun intended, that Nintendo can still create and innovate these games that bring people together in real life, you know, in an era where all online is huge, you know. So for number 4 in my list is Spider-Man 2. I just recently finished this game and it has been easily one of the best games I played on the PS5. You know, going back to a Spider-Man game since Spider-Man 1 on the PS4 was great. You know, the traversal around New York, swinging around the city is really satisfying. But the main thing I really liked in this game was the story. The game really feels like a movie because of the graphics and the cinematics. We are at that point where games can be on that level, but in my opinion, this Spider-Man story is better than any live action movie we have seen from Spider-Man. You know, Venom alone was why I was so excited for this game, and it did not disappoint. Venom is one of those iconic villains from, you know, the Marvel universe or any superhero comic, kind of like Sephiroth and Bowser is in video games. So having him in a video game with the direction they went with Venom for the story was really well done. Next up, for my number 3, we got Final Fantasy 16. Ever since I got the PS5, I was looking forward for this game, and to be honest, it was one of the reasons why I got a PS5 to begin with, along with other games. But you know, this was one of the main ones because it was announced early on when the PS5 was released. I am a huge fan of Final Fantasy, and this game was such a different take on Final Fantasy that there was a lot of controversy behind it. But for me, I enjoyed my time with it. Yes, it was a different take on Final Fantasy, but towards the end, it was so much Final Fantasy, you know. I enjoyed the characters, the story, graphics, boss battles, especially the music. Till this day, the music haunts me. It's in my head. Such a great game. Now, for my number 2 spot, the game that was so close to make it to my number 1 spot and be the best game of the year for me was number 2, Octopath Traveler 2. This game has everything I wanted in a turn-based RPG. The characters, the storytelling, the world building, the music, art style, graphics, just meshed together so well. What Square Enix and Team Asano have done with the graphics in terms of doing the 2D HD style of graphics have been innovative in the gaming industry, and Octopath 2 so far is the best looking game with the 2D HD style, in my opinion. I also like the way they tell the story, or stories I should say, with the 8 characters. 8 characters means 8 stories in the whole game that also come together as you play through the game. But for every character comes their own perspective on the story, so it keeps it fresh every time you play a different character or a character story, right? The gameplay is so sleek. There hasn't been any modern turn-based RPGs lately, so to have Octopath 2 come out and be such a great game, it has been a breath of fresh air. And now for my final game, my number 1 spot, my best game of the year is Tears of the Kingdom. I was looking forward to this game since it was announced. When it released, I spent way too much on Tears of the Kingdom merchandise. I bought the collectors, amiibos, controller, this and that, so much more, to the point that it was hundreds of dollars on Tears of the Kingdom merchandise and game. But finally playing the game was so magical to me. Seeing the logo pop up when you drop to the sky area at the beginning made me tear up a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. To me, this game is near perfection. The only thing I would say that keeps it from being perfect is the frame rate and resolution. It could be better, but that's because it's on the Switch, which, even that is impressive from seamlessly going from the sky area to the ground area, or from the ground area to the depths, without any loading time, is just crazy to me. I'm not really into open world games, but Tears of the Kingdom is just something else, with the physics, the freedom that no other open world can do till this date. And I'm sure on the Switch too, it will look and run better, so at that point, it will be a perfect game, in my opinion. I spent way too many hours in this game, and I haven't even actually finished the story in the game. I had to stop, take a break, get through the rest of the games for this year, but overall, it is my game of the year. Okay, now that we got my list out of the way, let's move on to my predictions of what I think will be nominated for the Game Awards in an objective way that the board or whoever's in charge of the Game Awards will nominate to be on the panel for the games of the year. So it will not be in order, right? And I will go over who I think will win the award at the end. For now, let's go over the contenders that will be nominated. So first, the big 2 games, Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of the Kingdom. No surprise there. Both front runners, both scored 96 on Metacritic, both played by many and adored by many. So let's move on to the next one, which is Spider-Man 2. I do think this game will secure a spot to be nominated for the Game Awards. Rated a 90 on Metacritic, and so many people have played this game. So many critics have reviewed this game as well. Next up, Mario Wonder with a 92 rating on Metacritic. Many critics reviewed it. The game is big on the Switch, one of the best modern Mario games to date. So I definitely think that this game will have a spot for the Game of the Year. So that's 4, right? We have Baldur's Gate, Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, and Mario Wonder. I think those are for sure gonna be nominated or have those 4 spots. But now it brings us to these last 2 spots, which was kind of hard to predict, but I will do my best. And for the 5th spot, I will go with Alan Wake 2. The game just came out. It's 89 rated. There's been a lot of talk about this game. So many people are playing it, and I really think Alan Wake will take a spot for the Game Awards. And now for the last spot, and I think it'll be Resident Evil 4 Remake. I know it's a remake, but we've seen remakes get in the Game Award nominations, like Resident Evil 2, Final Fantasy VII Remake as well. So I think Resident Evil 4 Remake does have a chance, and it's also one of the high rated games of this year with a 93 on Metacritic. So those are my predictions. We got Baldur's Gate 3, Tears of the Kingdom, Spider-Man 2, Mario Wonder, Alan Wake 2, and Resident Evil 4 Remake. Those are the ones that I think will be nominated for Game of the Year. But now for the game that I think will take it all in this year that has been stacked with highly rated games, high quality games. At this point, in my opinion, just flip a coin, man. I mean, between Tears and Baldur's Gate, it can go either way. Like it's weird to say that on a high, crazy year of games, but honestly, these two games have done the impossible. I know people online have been going back and forth saying Baldur's Gate doesn't deserve it. Tears of the Kingdom is Breath of the Wild 1.5. It didn't innovate, but in reality, objectively, both did incredible things. They both innovated in their games. Baldur's Gate, with its crazy dialogue choices with endless outcomes that changes depending on what you choose. So for that genre and style of game, it did innovate, and it did something that we have not seen before, And for Tears of the Kingdom, making Breath of the Wild look like a tech demo, improving on what Breath of the Wild did with the physics and free roam, which still to this day, no other games can do what Breath of the Wild did. The only game that succeeded to make it better, it's its own sequel, which is just crazy to even think about. It's not something that could be done, but somehow it has been done with the same developers as a sequel. So just thinking about that is just crazy, right? Both of these games had developers scratching their head on how those games even got made with all the things that they deliver. I mean, there was a lot of talk online, developers congratulating Nintendo, congratulating Baldur's Gate developer. I mean, it's just been crazy this year. So that's it, guys. My predictions and also my personal list for the games of the year. Like I said, the Game Awards is coming soon, December 7th, and I'm sure the nominated games will be revealed any day now, whether it's this week or next week. But who do you think will win Game of the Year, and which games are going to be nominated? And also, what is your personal Game of the Year? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll catch you next one. Peace.